Hello, I'm Don Flatt from Backyard Kempo, and today I want to discuss with you the superiority over timing and technique over speed. It's good to have speed, athleticism, strength, all these different things, but the idea with Koshiro is that we're not to be dependent on these things. So first of all, we're going to demonstrate where this comes from. This actually roots from Japanese swordsmanship. What's the sword, John? So, for example, in Kosho we study the use of angles and distancing and how to know where to move and when to move. So, for example, at this distance, Jonathan and I are about 6 feet apart from each other, so when he comes to strike me, go ahead, John, I know that I need to go off to this side angle over here, to the fourth angle there. And the thing about this, one of the things that was discovered with this, is that speed is no longer important. So Jonathan's going to try to strike fast, right, Jonathan? It doesn't matter. And I'm actually, if you notice, I'm not really moving fast. Go ahead, John, again. So I'm able to move nice and slow and easy, calm, collected. Again, Jonathan. And notice there's actually cuts that happen as I move through, but that's a whole other subject. Let's put our swords down. So one of the things that happens is I understand that I can move and be on time and not have to worry about rushing there. Because if I rush, I may be off balance, I may not be correct. I can set up everything what I need to do. So I'm able to, if Jonathan throws a punch, the same thing applies. I can just move off to the angle, and here I am, I'm safe from harm, I'm out of the way. Now, one of the things that a lot of martial arts systems have, and this is the problem, is they practice, and that's how they practice. Go ahead, Jonathan, again. Boom, one punch, and then they stop. Well, that's not actually what generally happens, right? We know that after this happens, this has already happened. The next thing's coming, which is right there. Okay, so what we have to do when we train a Kosho, maybe when we're first learning, we may work. Go ahead, step, and then okay, get out of the way, go to the right angle, use the correct timing, right? But then we have to understand this is already past, this is already coming. So by proper technique, proper positioning, I can now control what's happening with my opponent. And so now he may be going faster than me, his speed is neutralized. So I can, you know, a lot of times what happens, you know, if we do a technique, and say this is it, for example, he moves and I block and I punch 3 times, right? I move 4 or 5 times, he moves once. That's not quite fair. That might not actually work. So for example, if he was to do that and try to throw 2 punches, and I block over here, I'm already hit. See, that's the problem. So I've already been hit right now, so my technique is improper, and it doesn't matter how fast I am. So speed becomes not a factor. He's able to hit me because he's going to move at the same time. So, you know, one of the things with Kosho, my understanding, I could actually move less than he does. So he could throw his punch, and I could deal with one. Go ahead, oh no, you got to go back, throw twice. He could throw 1 punch, 2 punch, and I could use the same technique to deal with the same one. So I've actually moved less than him, but because my timing is correct, my distance is correct, my angles are correct, I can deal with him. So let's take, for example, the same thing I was trying to do, which was, you know, let's do 1 punch, block, right? No, just do 1 punch, okay? So we have block, technique, right? So rather, I might want to say if he's going to throw that, go ahead, block, and my timing's correct. Okay? Wait, I'm sorry, I meant to throw 2. Okay? So if I block and he goes to throw a second, my timing's correct and my angle is correct. As you see, I'm able to offset the man and take control at that point in time. So, and I've moved actually slower than he's moving. And that's one of the things that you want to understand. Distance, you understand timing, you understand the visual plane, these different things. That's when you know that really it's not about speed. It's not necessarily about athleticism. It's about being in the right place at the right time. So you can go slowly and you can still be effective. For example, the common thing, we're going to throw 1 punch again, John. The common thing in a lot of Kempo systems, they use techniques like this with multiple combinations. But again, what happened there? He threw 1 punch. He's allowing me to perform this technique. If he's going to do, what person's going to sit there and throw 1 punch at me? And the problem with this technique, for example, like I just did, what I did is I did a parry block on the inside, and came back with a knife hand, and I'm trying to now deliver a punch, something similar to like a 5 sword. The problem with this is, go ahead now throw 2 punches. My parry is actually going to bring this punch directly into me. So I have to now move with the correct technique, correct timing. He's going to throw his 2 punches. I may want to now go like here. So what I do now? I actually changed my angle. Sure, this is coming at me, but I've actually interrupted it. He's actually off balance. I've taken control at this point in time. And I've actually, at that time, and you notice, one thing is different here, right? With the other technique, there's a lot of motion of the twisting of the pelvic girdle to try to create the speed in the technique. But instead, I'm using, and being lazy here, and I'm using the same rotation to accomplish more than one strike. So for example, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then when I come back around, there's 5, and he's down. So understanding the point that I'm trying to make to you today is what is important. It's timing, it's distance, it's technique, it's not speed. And the speed just there happened. Some people may think that was a lot of speed, and there's not a lot of power even happening in there. But the same rotation is able to produce that. If you notice, go ahead, Jonathan. When he goes here, right, my rotation here, maybe every strike's not a knockout punch, but this here has power to it, as you can see. Right? Not only that, I don't know if you can see with the camera, but I actually have a strike to the knee as well, a strike to the leg, further imbalancing it, compounding the effect of what you're doing, as opposed to trying to either A, give everything you got to go as fast as you can with your hands, or giving everything you got to try to deliver this powerful strike. And different arts have different things. And they think the secret to completing them is getting faster. I mean, early on in my instructions, there were things I was trying to do. And one of my instructors at the time was, oh, you'll get faster as you go by. And as I began to study Coach Rue, I learned that actually is not the truth. We don't get faster as time goes by. We get slower. We get weaker. So what good is martial arts then? If it's all dependent on us being faster, stronger, and better. And it's more important for us to understand how, where, and when to do things. So that's a brief illustration. So just, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a lower parry, right? And I'm going to deal with 2 strikes with 1 parry. So go ahead. So here's 1 strike, right? Now, guess what? One of the things that we're doing now is as I was coming across, so I moved actually as slow or slower than he did. One thing that's happening is with proper technique here, as I'm shifting him outside, I'm off balancing him. I'm preventing the next strike, right? Or I could do something different. Say if I parry with the other hand, so it's the same type of strike. Now, as he comes across, the parry is actually going to bring his technique, exaggerate his technique, distort him. So in both cases, I'm avoiding getting struck. I'm not depending on my speed. I'm just using appropriate distance, appropriate timing, appropriate technique. But that's the idea.